You are listening to the Bell Ringers podcast on Philly Sports Reports, brought to you by SeatGeek. Here are your hosts, Colin Daly and Benjamin Goldstein.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Bell Ringers podcast. Colin Daly here alongside Benjamin Goldstein. And it is officially the 2025 Major League Baseball All-Star break. As you all can see, I'm sporting my ridiculously too small National League All-Star jersey when St. Louis hosted it in 2009. And Ben, when we have this same podcast at the break next year, I don't think I'm going to be able to squeeze this on.
I hope not. You're
I
fitting
mean,
in a jersey that you got when you were one.
Well, yeah. If I hit the gym like I say I'm going to over the next 12 months, I definitely won't be fitting in this jersey.
And hopefully we get like the 2026 Phillies All-Star jerseys.
We're not even going to be having a podcast this time next year because we're going to be in Philadelphia right now catching dingers.
Exactly.
How can I forget? That's right. You know what? This is really random, and I'm sorry to go on a tangent. We're only 58 seconds into this episode. Why do they take batting practice the day before the game? I know it's a publicity stunt. I know they want views. I know they want people to like their Instagram and Snapchat posts or whatever. That defeats the entire purpose of batting practice. It actually makes me so mad. I don't know why.
Well, they do it for the Derby, is why they do the All-Star break, or why they do the batting practice, and it's also just for.
But everyone takes batting practice.
Yeah, but I mean, it's mostly for the guys in the Derby. But I mean, they don't really need the extra reps, but I don't know. It's kind of
they need to come up with a new name for it though, because it's not batting practice.
It's just
you practice for the game, but the game's not even happening today.
Yeah, it's just
batting showcase,
batting reps.
That's what we're calling it. That's good. That works too.
This episode is going up on Tuesday, so the All-Star game is later tonight. National League will hopefully be taking the win because, of course, they should always win. And then congratulations to whoever won the Derby last night. We don't know yet because we're recording this before the Derby. So,
yeah,
hopefully, fun one. My prediction is James Wood.
Really?
And I also think O'Neal Cruz. I think O'Neal Cruz will put on.
I was gonna say O'Neal Cruz.
Yeah, I think he's gonna put on a show, but I think James Wood will come out. So.
Oh, all right. Well, the first thing we're going to talk about today, and it's kind of hard not to talk about it, is the Phillies offense. Because when they lose bad and don't score. And when they win, at least in the last 2.5 weeks, they are winning by the skin of their teeth. Such as our 2-1 win against the Padres, where Cristopher Sanchez threw an absolute gem. Somehow we had a really interesting last 2 innings there, Ben, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, this typically is what occurs with the Phillies. You either go out and you score 13 runs and win 13-0, or you lose 1-0 or 2-1 or such as it. But I mean, when you have runners in scoring position, you don't execute. This is what's going to happen. You see all the strikeouts occur when runners are in scoring position, and it's just classic Phillies baseball. And that's why you need to go out and acquire someone at the deadline that will drive in runners in a scoring position, because obviously this team is incapable of doing so because they have not been capable of doing it for the last 3 years. So it's the tough reality where do you expect anything else? But I mean, JT Realmuto had the big double Sunday with Bryce at second. That was huge. That ultimately won the game. But I mean, it's ridiculous when you're playing the Giants and in the 2 nights prior you score a combined like 2 or 3 runs and then you go out and score 13.
So I just want to understand. I just would love to know how Nick Pivetta, of all people, struck out 8 Phillies. Come on, come on now.
He hasn't. Really I forgot how that curveball was kind of devastating on Sunday against the Phillies.
Yeah, I mean he is admittedly pretty good. I mean he's also having a ridiculous season. If you've seen his stat line. 19 starts, 109 innings, 122 strikeouts, and a 2.88 ERA.
Yeah, wish you could have done that with the Phillies in 18, 19, and 20.
Seriously.
Yeah, obviously.
I don't know where or when. And he wasn't even that great when I guess kind of came out of nowhere. He was good when he first got to Boston. I mean, we saw it. Oh God, I don't remember what year that was.
when he won.
When he went to Boston, but he had pretty good numbers while he was there in the beginning, and then he kind of fell apart. But I mean, he is good this year. It's unsettling.
Yeah,
I think it was when did I can't remember when he left. I'm sure it's on his stat page.
21.
20.
He was traded in 20, and was the Heath Hembry and Brandon Walker trade.
Yes, Brandon Heath Hembry and Brandon Workman. That's right.
Workman, not Walker. Workman.
Brandon Work. Oh my gosh.
What a horrible. Really thought we were doing something there. Anyway,
That was
yeah.
like
So you can't score runs if you don't bring them in in scoring position. So that's ultimately what it is. And I thought it was interesting. Matt Gell published an article for The Athletic this Monday morning, and it was noting how the Phillies have done exactly what they should be doing on offense. They're not chasing as much. The strikeouts have been limited. They're on base a little bit more. They're just not hitting for power. Like, they've done all this, and the power has gone away. They're middle of the pack in the MLB in homers. Their slugging percentage is way down from years past. And you're the hitting expert, so I want to ask you, like, how do you create that balance? Like, I don't have a description in The Athletic, so I didn't read the article. But how do you create that balance? You're not chasing as much. You're doing what you need to do, but you're not hitting for power. How do you create the balance of power, but also discipline?
so. My take on this is the power isn't necessarily something that's planned. Power is a result of having an effective front end of your swing. So understanding the timing, knowing what pitch, or at least being able to expect a certain pitch or certain type of pitch given the situation, and then just having generally good mechanics to your swing from when the pitcher releases the ball to when you make contact in the hitting zone. So I think a lot of it really comes down to reps and being prepared. Because if these guys are doing their scouting and getting their batting practice, we just talked about batting practice, getting their batting practice in before the game, and really taking a deep dive into the scouting reports and the arsenals of the pitchers they're facing, that is how they're going to have good at bats. And I guess you could say, while power is something that some guys have more than others, everyone has the ability to barrel a baseball. And when we see guys do that, is in those situations when they can anticipate what move a pitcher's going to make on them. So I think right now a lot of the Phillies guys, and I mean they've had some. You see a lot of guys having good at bats. Like Kyle Schwarber has good at bats. Bryce Harper has good at bats. Nick Castellanos, not Trey Turner, has very good at bats, and he's been hitting well. Um, but what's important is that 1 through 9, you're not going to have guys with extreme power. But 1 through 9, you should be able to have prepared hitters who, even if they haven't seen that pitcher before, they can still feel comfortable in the box. So a lot of it does come down to getting them reps and knowing what you're facing.
Well, if they're not prepared, that goes on the coaching. Like, Kevin Long is the hitting coach. If he doesn't have his guys prepared, or is that like you're just not watching or paying attention, or
It's all of it. I mean, it can be the most subtle of things. It could be something in the pitcher's mechanics that day in particular. It could be a sequence or pattern that the pitcher creates with his pit, or the pitcher and catcher create with their pitch calling, and it's a subconscious thing they don't realize. But it falls on everyone in the dugout. Like, it's the whole dugout's responsibility to kind of crack the pitcher, is what I like to call it, is to figure out how that first you need to figure out how that pitcher is approaching you, and then once you can deduce that, then you figure out how you can counterattack the pitcher. Like, I kind of think of it as like a game of chess. I guess the funny people who think they're funny would say when they're playing checkers, what is it? They play checkers, I play chess.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a chess game. That's what it really comes down to.
Phillies seem like they're playing chess too often. Since July 4th, Phillies lost 9-6, 5-1. They lost 9-6, lost 3-1, 4-3, 4-2, and 5-4. So Just not a lot of runs being scored. I mean, some of those nights, it's not winnable. I mean, 9-6 on July 4th. Pitching's not going to help you out there. All these other ones, winnable, maybe 5-4. Five's a good amount of runs. But, I mean, those games are winnable when you have this offense. And from July 4th to July 7th, so Friday to Monday, they had a stretch where they were 0 for 26 with runners in scoring position. That's just flat out not going to win you baseball games.
Yeah, I mean, you're
You want to
100%
score
right.
runs, you got to do it with runners in scoring position. That's just how the game works.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that we've seen year in and year out from these Phillies teams. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the Phillies are doomed or the Phillies need to revamp their entire lineup before October, because that's not true. Whether we want to admit it or not, they have a really, really strong offense. And it might take a little bit of time before it kicks into gear, but we saw it in 2022. Just has to kick into gear at the right time and they'll be successful. Right now, Phillies are kind of in a similar situation. They had a good first half. They're in first place. Can't be too frustrated with what they've done so far. But in an 162 game season, they always say it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's about sustainability, about being able to maintain a level of play all year. And we've seen this lineup 1 through 9 get really hot, and then a week later, 1 through 9 cannot hit a beach ball if it was pitched to them. So I'm not. I would say I'm not. I'm always concerned about the Phillies lineup. That's just my nature. But compared to other things, I am not concerned about the lineup on July 15th. Now, talk to me on September 15th. My answer might be a little bit different. But you look at the guys in this lineup: Schwarber, Turner, Harper, Realmuto, Castellanos, Bohm, Stott. These are veterans who are going to do their jobs when it's the time that they have to step up. I firmly believe that. They're all really good, really talented hitters, and that doesn't just go away. I can tell you that there are hot streaks and there are cold streaks. They're inevitable. And right now, they're definitely cold as ice. But I do think that when the time comes for them to step up, they'll do so.
And when one of them does, it feels like everyone else does. Like this
Yeah.
offense, they're either all hot or they're all cold. And there's been too many extents in this season where they've all been too cold. But the starting pitching has been so good that they are 55 and 41 at the All-Star break and in first place in the
Yep.
NL East, up a game of the Mets. Don't have a bye at the moment, but so be it. Without the starting pitching, we're seeing this offense is much more exploited than they really are. They are their butts are being covered by how good the starting pitching has been. I mean, but when you don't get a great start out of one guy, the game is over in the third inning. Like we've seen that a few times now with Jesus Luzardo. He doesn't give you a great start. The game is over very quickly because there's no confidence in this offense to get some runs on the board.
Now, I'd like to remind you that come October, they'll be able to have 90% of their games will be started by Wheeler, Suarez, or Sanchez. So take that as you please, because that will play a huge factor, which means you can also move Luzardo and I guess Nola if he's back to the bullpen.
But we need to get there first.
Right. Yes, I agree. I mean, honestly, Taiwan Walker is pitchable out of the bullpen. Um, whether we want to admit it or not, you all know if you've listened to at least one episode, even if you've listened to 5 minutes of this podcast, you probably know where I stand with Taiwan Walker. Actually, I rephrase where Taiwan Walker stands with me, because that's the point we've
Oh,
reached.
okay.
That was embarrassing. I'm not going to say that again. But but I lost my train of thought. But now, see, this is why we can't have fun on here. Because
Yeah, we
I
don't have
lose what I'm
no
thinking
fun
about.
thoughts.
Oh, right. The playoff rotation. Yeah. So Walker's serviceable out of the bullpen, whether we want to admit it or not. And you have Luzardo, Nola with a whole bunch of question marks and confused face emojis and all that stuff around that. and hopefully at least one guy the Phillies acquire at the deadline, and suddenly you have the best three starting pitchers in the playoffs and a solid bullpen. That sets them up for success regardless of where that offense is. Pitching and defense win championships, not home runs.
It's true. But, I mean, you got to get there first. So
Absolutely.
And
All right, let's
I'll
talk
tell you,
about. I
yeah,
mentioned. Oh, sorry. I think
tell
we're
you
going to the
one
same place
place
though.
where Cristopher Sanchez and Ranger Suarez aren't going, where they should be
Yeah,
going, which is where you were going.
the All-Star game.
Yeah. Cristopher Sanchez and Ranger Suarez left off the initial All-Star game roster. Ranger was reportedly asked, or not reportedly, he said it himself, and he declined. Cristopher Sanchez reportedly he was pitched the idea of playing in it, but he had to commit to pitching at least one inning. He started the game Sunday in San Diego, and it's just utterly ridiculous that you ask the guy who pitched on Sunday to throw an inning, just let him in. Like, it's like not necessary. And then it comes out his agent comes out and says that he was never asked and said that Cristopher Sanchez would pitch no matter what if he had the opportunity. So instead, Jacob Mizorowski, who has made 5 starts in his major league career, gets the call to the Phillies players who are not happy about it. It's really, this is a move
That's an understatement.
to sell the tickets and get button seats and to get the TV onto Fox on Tuesday at 8 o'clock because everyone knows this Mizorowski kid. Nobody knows Cristopher Sanchez and Ranger Suarez.
It's an interesting situation. And let me start off with this. Ranger Suarez and Cristopher Sanchez are all-star pitchers. No one is debating that. They should both be on the all-star team. However, I do feel like the whole Sanchez situation has been blown slightly out of proportion. Think about it this way. So, Major League Baseball creates these teams. We'll just say for the sake of this conversation. They have these teams. They have 3 or 4 guys decline. They need to have X number of people on that roster. 3 or 4 guys decline. You need to find 3 or 4 more pitchers. So let's say they need to find 4. Why, if you ask someone, I mean, I can understand why they would want, like, why would they want someone to pitch or to join that team who's not actually going to play? Like, that's literally saying, hi, do you want to play on the All-Star team? You accept being an All-Star and then say, oh, I won't be playing. And they have to go find someone else again. So I can't really blame them for setting that condition, especially when that player wasn't selected to be an All-Star initially, because I guess getting that honor as, I guess you could say, quote unquote, a second attempt or a not bonus, but in that situation is like already kind of considered a perk. I just don't know why they would agree to choose someone who's not going to actually participate in the game.
Well, I mean, I get it. You're finding the replacement for the replacement.
Right. Yeah. Like what's
just,
like, don't, that's just
not,
redundant.
there's no
And a waste
point.
of time.
It's
Yeah.
like if I asked Colin, it's like if I asked
Yeah.
you to take the SAT on Sunday after taking the ACT on Saturday. You're going to say absolutely not.
That's dumb. I need a nap.
Yeah, don't want to do that. So it's essentially you're finding a replacement for the replacement, and that's just a waste of time. However, my issue is he should have been in the first place. In 19 starts, 115 innings, a 2.5 ERA, 122 strikeouts, a 1.14 whip. He is in the top 10 in, I think, all those numbers in the National League. There is an extent, Colin, where he should have been on the roster in the first place, and then you find a replacement. And that's when you reach out to Robbie Ray or someone like that that made the team in the first place. Because Cristopher Sanchez is a top 5, 6, 7 pitcher in the National League, and he's not on the All-Star roster to start.
Yeah. I'll tell you, while we're on this topic, Nick Pivetta, much as we hate to say it, he probably has a case too.
Yeah. A lot of guys have the case.
Yeah. It's weird. But I mean, it's good though. It means you have a lot of good players in the game. That's just, as baseball fans, that's what we want to see. So
Yeah,
definitely a good thing.
Sanchez, his ERA is 4th in the NL, 10th in the MLB.
You see, that's why I
Strikeouts
just don't get.
strikeouts are 9th in the NL. His WHIP is 13th. All-Star last year, got Cy Young votes last year as well. Top 3 pitcher on the best rotation in baseball. It's just makes too much sense for him to be on the roster. So let's not put him on there. That's my biggest thing. And then Ranger, I can see not putting him on there in the first place because he only had 12 starts when they did this. But then, like, why is Jacob Mizorowski, who, first of all, his ERA is higher than Cristopher Sanchez and Ranger Suarez by a good amount. Rangers is 1.94, Sanchez 2.5, Mizorowski 2.81, 5 starts. And I know he got off to such a great start, but I mean, he's had his last couple have not exactly blown you away. I mean, 12 strikeouts against the Dodgers is insane. Had a bad start against the Mets. Had a pretty decent starting against Pittsburgh. I mean, he allowed just 2 hits in the 5 innings. That's pretty good. But like, I mean, he's amazing, and he is great for the game. You got another young star pitcher back-to-back years that are letting it up. But Paul Skeens last year had 15, 16 starts under his belt. Mizorowski 5, and he's an all-star. That's crazy.
I don't get it.
It's crazy. And that's where you
No, I
get these
agree.
quotes from the Phillies. I mean, JT Realmuto has just said this is how the MLB does it. Nothing against Mizorowski, but Sanchez and Suarez are deserving of being on the team in the first place. Trey Turner said it's effing terrible. Which, you know.
Thank you for saving the best one for last. This is my favorite.
And then Nick Castellanos, excuse me, says it is turning into the Savannah Bananas, which is just an awesome quote. And it is true. Like, you are getting the guy, and this is true with all sports. Like, the All-Star game, how all sports do it is terrible when you have the fan vote, because I don't know how there's so many guys. Like, Francisco Lindor is hitting like 240, and he's starting in the All-Star game over Trey Turner and Ellie De La Cruz. Like, first of all, Trey Turner should be an all-star.
Yeah,
like, I don't know how
left him out,
we're
but he
just
should be there.
dismissing that. Like, he's hitting 300. Like, typically that gets you an all-star spot. It's been one of, if not the most consistent hitter on this Phillies team. But you have that. You, like, whoever will get the engagement and whoever will get the fan interest is who's playing in the all-star game.
Yeah,
And
no, you're right.
Unfortunately, it's not Cristopher Sanchez or Ranger Suarez because they don't light it up. Where Mizorowski's throwing over 100, he's a rookie, and he's lighting up the MLB. And it's the fact of the matter is that it's all about, at the end of the day, the All-Star game means nothing. It doesn't matter for home field advantage anymore. It's all about the MLB making what, Colin? Money.
Cashola.
And unfortunately, the Phillies don't have a ton of guys in their starting rotation that'll bring the money. Other than Zach Wheeler, who is opted out of the All-Star game.
Yeah. And I'll say, we talked about the whole, like, every sport, it's turned into the Savannah Bananas. I would argue baseball is the least Savannah Bananas of, I mean, if you watch the NBA All-Star game,
well, the NBA
it's not
All-Star
even
game
basketball.
No, it's a joke.
The NFL does the Pro Bowl, which isn't even played with real football rules.
It's flag football now.
Right. So I think there's so many better things. Do a combine. I think that's what I would want to see. So we see these guys go out and do these things every day. I want to see some guy like chuck it from the bleachers in right field to home plate on strike 3.
Well, that's Savannah Bananas.
Yeah. I need all Savannah Bananas or no Savannah Bananas?
Kind of in.
I would like to see it. I really don't have much of a desire to watch the All-Star game ever. especially this year with no Phillies players starting in it. It's nothing special. They have 162 other games I could watch. I've got a laptop, a phone, a TV, an iPad. I can put multiple games on at once, see most of the starting lineups. So
Except next year will be cool when it's here. But
yeah, I'm excited. I want to go to the home run derby next year. I think that's an awesome experience.
where is the best spot in the stadium
Mm.
for a home run derby? I think it's like the 200 level in right field, like dead right field, like section 203.
Really?
Because you got the lefty power guys are going to be smoking it up there. Like, how many is Schwarber going to hit up there?
You think he's going to do it next year?
He
Right?
basically said he's going to. He said next year we'll see. So if the Phillies re-sign him, he's doing it.
I'll say it would be awesome if he ends up signing with the team, not the Phillies. Sorry. It would be most awesome if he returned to the Phillies. It would be
Yeah.
second most awesome if he returns to a team that the Phillies don't play until the second half, and his return to Philly is the 2026 home run derby. I mean, that would be the coolest thing ever. Because they don't even have to root against him. Like, how awesome is that? I'll say if Schwarber is on a different team next year and he's in the home run derby, they shouldn't even put the Phillies rep in there, even though it's their home stadium.
So it's just Schwarber.
Yeah. He deserves the attention.
Who would do it for the Phillies other than Schwarber? Because Harper's done it, but I don't think he'd do it again.
I don't know, though. I mean, in Philly, that would get everyone going crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Bohm's done it.
I would love it to be Harper.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would
do it too.
I don't know if he would be healthy or want to do it because of the whole, like, it messes up your swing. And I'm sure the Phillies are going to be
and he's got to make the
All-Star spot next year. Yeah.
Which he hasn't done. He's done it once as a Philly.
Right. But, I mean, that would also be absolutely electric, is seeing Harper as a Philly doing a home run derby at Citizens Bank Park.
Harper versus Schwarber?
I think that would break. You know how they have all those people were posting the, like, number of decibels of, like, vibration that were coming out of Citizens Bank Park? I think that would a Schwarber on a different team versus Harper face off in the finals would, like, double all of those numbers. I really did think that.
I don't know about that.
Oh, I think it would. I mean, I can tell you, It would
do numbers. It would do numbers, but it would not get louder than a playoff game.
Oh, absolutely. All right, we'll come back to this. July, whatever 10th of 15th? Next year.
365 days.
I'm curious.
Give or take.
I mean, actually, hopefully, there's no conversation to come back to because hopefully Schwarber's with the Phillies, and there's not going to be that competition in there.
Hopefully, the Phillies have more than 2 All-Stars next year as well.
Yeah, that would be good.
They should have more than 2 in 2025, but they don't because.
I know we're getting off topic again, Ben, but do you think the guys who, like, get asked and then decline should be at least given, like, on their stat page 2025 All-Star?
I think the whole All-Star thing, because it's not even looked at anymore.
True. Like, I mean, I look at it sometimes. Like, oh, he's a 5-time All-Star, 6-time All-Star.
When you value a season, if they're an All-Star or not, because like
I agree. I shouldn't say stat page, but like their player bio.
Yeah, I mean, Cristopher Sanchez should be an All-Star. Like, if you have a season like that,
at least get it on his page.
His baseball reference page should say All-Star 2025, but doesn't, and it's ridiculous. So, like, I feel like if you ask someone and they say I want to play, they should still be honored as an All-Star. They're just not participating.
Right. Or I guess the other alternative. Yeah, or the other alternative is only the guys who make it, like, as released by the baseball writers. Right. Like, but then you kind of, like, I mean, how weird would that be? Like, oh, I'm not an All-Star, but I'm playing in the All-Star game right now. Like, doesn't make any sense.
You're there, but you're not. Like, it's
right. It's like the guest player on a baseball. Like, you ever, like, your little league team, like Johnny, Tommy, and Mikey went on, like, a neighborhood vacation, and then you needed an extra player to play right field. I was like, oh, I'm playing on this team, but I'm not on this team, so
I
it's
had to do
weird.
that. I guest played once and it was against my team because they just needed an extra fielder. So
Right?
like
Yeah.
whoever was the last out would go out there, and I had to go out there and played right field, and I got my guy out running in the second,
Oh no.
and it was terrible. Like I had no intent. I just kind of like lobbed it in, and I ended up getting him out at second. I was like, dude, I'm sorry. It was not my intention.
I probably shouldn't share this on the podcast, but I'm going to anyway because why not? Um, my freshman year, I don't know why I lowered my voice. Like everyone can hear this. Just turn the volume up on your device. But my freshman year, there was like a massive fight that like involved like it was baseball kid like fight during lunch at our school. So like so many kids got suspended. Not so many, but like two or three, maybe four got suspended. So we like didn't have enough players for our one game because it was the freshman team, and we had to get this like kid from Wissahickon to play first base for us, and it was embarrassing. And it was like a home game for us today. And I mean, it happened like the day of the game in school. So like show up at the
Wow.
field. Our coach has a full time job, so he gets there like a half hour before the game, and we're like, okay, who's gonna tell coach that our entire team got suspended? We need to steal a player from Wissahickon or forfeit the game. That was like the most not it, touch your nose moment
Yeah,
ever.
nose
Like
goes.
if, yeah, nose goes. So, I mean, that was just mortifying. But I don't even know how we got the whole guest player thing. But yeah, if you're an all-star, I guess that is kind of a weird thing to do. Would be to play in the all-star game and not be an all-star. But
Yeah,
I mean, Sanchez deserves it.
yeah, definitely does. And Phillies did give him the bonus 50,000,
Yeah.
even though he's not also, which is classy, good gesture by the Phillies, and my good friend John Middleton
Yes.
with another good guy move.
Yeah. All right, let's switch up the topic and look a little bit beyond the all-star break, Ben. Let's talk trade rumors. So the trade deadline is 2.5 weeks away. If you're John Middleton, my boy Dombo, Sam Fold, I don't even know the other guys up there now.
Preston Mattingly.
Yeah, Brian Barber, wasn't Ned Rice? Is he still with the organization? I have no idea. Because he was when Clentac got fired, he was the interim.
Matt Klentak, sneaky great general manager.
Whoa, really?
Hey, Bryce Harper, Aaron
He
Nola.
wasn't. Yeah, his
Or I guess
PR wasn't
Nola
as good as
Nola falls
Dombrowski.
under Rube, but JT Realmuto,
Yeah,
like
and
he
well,
brought some guy. He brought some
Rube didn't
guys
do
in.
Nola. His
Hey,
scouting
I
guy
mean,
did Nola,
I'll tell you, Matt Klentak was more willing to trade prospects than Dave Dombrowski is. He traded Sixto Sanchez.
which is
Remember
weird
him?
because that's not I do. That's not Dombrowski's IO. Is to like death grip prospects,
He's been
but
doing it
he's
for
been
too
doing
long
that.
here.
Well, you know what? Let's change up the whole order of the podcast. Before we talk about who the Phillies are going to get, let's jump down to our last thing because we're talking about it already on our agenda. Who are the Phillies going to give? Like, who is available and not available of their top prospects in your eyes?
Well, I mean, everybody needs to be available, just flat out. This is the last year of this Phillies core. This
Yes, I
is
agree.
this is the last year of prime JT. You got JT aging, he's on the last year of his deal. Kyle Schwarber aging, he's on the last year of his deal. Nick Castellanos is aging. Bryce Harper is aging. Trey Turner is aging. This is it with his offense. And some of these pitchers, Zach Wheeler's getting old. Aaron Nola's getting old. This is it. This is your last. This might be your last year. And you have
Yeah,
these
and
guys in the minor leagues. You have Andrew Painter, who, with Lehigh Valley this year in his rehab, has an ERA of 4.84 in 16 starts. You have Aidan Miller. You have Justin Crawford, who's hitting very well. You have Mick Abel, who impressed in the major leagues, obviously fell off a little bit, finished with a 5 ERA in 6 starts, but he outpitched Paul Skeens. There is value there. There is value in Andrew Painter, who's pitching for the first time in 2 or 3 years. There's value in Aidan Miller, who can play shortstop. He can play third. He can play second. There's value in Justin Crawford. He's hitting very well. There's so much value with these guys. And you have to pull the trigger. You have to. It gets to a point. It has been so long with Dombrowski where he is not willing to pull that trigger. This is the year to do it. When was the last time the Phillies had a true prospect, high ranked, that panned out? Cole Hamels is the first name that comes to mind. He came up in 2006. That was before I was born. So it gets to a point where you got to pull the trigger and you got to make things happen. And there's guys on the major league roster that need to be dealt too. Max Kepler is terrible. And the guy is so bad. He's hitting 210, and you gave him a pretty cheap deal. 1 year, move him. I'm almost at the point. Ranger Suarez, you know you're not going to retain him in the offseason. Why not get something for him? Why not go out there and maybe move Ranger Suarez? You know you're not going to re-sign him. Get some value back for him. This has to be the year. This is the last year of this core, and moves have to be made. And it's not going to happen unless you move some of your top guys.
3 things on that note. One, quick, I don't know what I'm going to do without Ranger Suarez next year. I mean, I've been saying this since like 2019, but he might be my favorite player on the roster. I love Ranger Suarez. We were talking about Painter. Here's the situation. You mentioned it briefly, but you're right. We've seen the core of this Phillies team is getting older. Besides JT Realmuto, now I placed JT Realmuto in a separate category because he's a catcher. The wear and tear there is not comparable to any other position on the field. So outside of JT Realmuto, in my eyes, this is the first year where the aging is starting to really show among multiple guys on the team. Harper, Nola, Castellanos. Turner's having a good year, but I think you can kind of see it a little bit. And right now, with the trajectory of this team and their minor league system, when Andrew Painter, Aidan Miller, and I don't think he's going to get there. That was a little harsh, actually, but Justin Crawford are in their primes. They're going to be the only good thing that the Phillies have going, other than a gray-haired Bryce Harper hobbling out to first base every other inning or every other half inning. Will be the only good thing that this team has when those guys are in their primes. So if we're not going to use them now, we're not going to effectively use them ever because they're not going to be. I mean, this team, from what I'm looking at, they're not the kind of team that's going to have perennial success for multiple decades in a row like the Dodgers. They're going to struggle when this core ages because there's nothing coming up behind them, or at least not enough.
And
they might be 500.
Yeah, and this is where that win now comes from. I mean, you've seen the Philly, in the 2010s, the Phillies did. They traded for Hunter Pence. They traded for Cliff Lee twice. They got Roy Oswalt. And they're dealing prospects to get these guys.
Exactly. And the way this works is there is one end goal. It is win a World Series, right? I mean, I think that's how we look at things. So, yes, could Andrew Painter be a top 5 pitcher in baseball? Sure. Could Aidan Miller be a top 3 third baseman? Sure. Justin Crawford might even figure out how to hit the ball not into the ground. I don't know. But these guys are not going to contribute to the Phillies winning a World Series. And it's not because, like I said, not because they're not good. Just the trajectory of this team over the next 10 or so years, it doesn't really align.
No, and you look at it now, Painter could have a spot, but he's not pitching well in AAA. So it doesn't look like he's going to be coming up when they expected it to, which was around this time. No spot for Aidan Miller. Third base is taken by Alec Boehm. He's not getting moved. He's hitting fairly well going into the break. Trey Turner, of course, is under contract for another 10 years. He's not getting moved out to center field at this very moment. Stott, of course, at second. Justin Crawford could have a spot if they make a trade where they have an open outfield spot, but you don't want to put it all on Crawford. And then McCable, we've seen up and down a little bit in the majors, but had a good start in AAA. That certainly raises his value. So
Right.
This
And at
is
least
if
next year, there's not a spot for Abel and Painter. There might be for one, but not for both. Got to
correct.
keep that in mind
And
too.
so, I mean, this is it. This is it with this core. This is it with this team. If there's any year to trade these guys, it's 2025.
Yeah. And before we move, I have one last question for you. Yes or no? Then we're going to talk about who the Phillies should acquire at the deadline, not who they should give up. If the Phillies on August 1st still have both of Andrew Painter and Mick Abel in their organization, did they not try hard enough at the deadline? Yes or no?
Yes. Because if both of them are still here, they
They did
didn't
not
make
try
a
hard enough.
valuable enough trade that'll help them right
I
now.
agree. Because if one, I
Because
hate to say it, but if one of the top prospects has to go, it's
it's
gonna be one of those two.
it's a pitcher. It is because they
Unless they
need to.
see Abel being a bullpen piece in the postseason, which I don't think I see that right now.
No. And like, if you're going to make a trade, it has to be for bullpen, because this back in the bullpen is like hanging on by a string, and it's not a thick string. This is like a ball of yarn
No.
out of your grandma's kit in her basement. Like this is a pretty bad string. Like Jordan Romano is in there way too much. Matt Strom is like, you get an uneasy feeling every time he goes out. Ryan Kirkering has been very good, but like outside of Kirkering, that's all you trust in this bullpen. Joe Ryan or Joe Ross, excuse me, is getting deep innings and just stuff you don't want to see. And if you have Abel and Painter both here, you didn't trade for a bullpen arm that's
Right.
going to help you. Like
And with
the
the
guys
way
we're
it
about to
is
talk
right
about.
now, the only way they're getting a pitcher is by giving a pitcher because it's such a hot
Exactly.
commodity right now. So they're good. They're not going to be able to get a good reliever for their like Florida complex league backup second baseman. That's not going to happen. 10 years ago, maybe, but this year it's not. It's not going to suffice.
Pitching is valued so high, especially this year, because there's not a ton of it in the minors anymore. But
Mm-hmm.
Phillies have
Yeah.
Painter, they have Abel, two major league Abel. See what I did there? Players that can paint the zone. Did a little thing with Abel and Painter there. They all need to be available. And like, we'll go do it again. I mentioned Sixto Sanchez earlier. He was the Phillies' top prospect in 2018, 2019. Phillies traded him. Look what he's doing now. You haven't heard about that guy in years.
Yeah, not much to look at.
Sixto, he has been terrible. Like, you look at Aaron Nola, he wasn't he was a first round pick, but we didn't talk about him like he was like a saving grace of this organization like we are with Andrew Painter. We're not doing that. We didn't talk about Rhys Hoskins is different, but he was a high prospect. I mean, he was great, but he wasn't a totally franchise altering piece. He certainly helped and added to the bright future, but he did not himself turn this organization around. So like, things have to be done.
Yeah.
Pieces have to move. Phillies haven't had multiple prospects work out at the same time since Jimmy Rollins, Ryan Howard, and Chase Utley.
I don't want to keep dragging this on, and I promise we'll move on. But I think Andrew Painter is a really, really, really good pitcher with ridiculous stuff. He can locate. He has great command. The stuff is just like I said, it's incredible. But there is nothing, and I've heard this like in real, legitimate, not joking conversations multiple times in the last 6 months. People genuinely ask the question: when Andrew Painter comes up to the major leagues, do you think he's gonna be better or worse than Paul Skeens? Oh, it makes me want to choke myself in the moment. I've genuinely heard people either asking me that or I see two people ask each other that. And it is the most infuriating thing to listen to because you cannot possibly be that ignorant to how rare it is for a first round pick in the major leagues to work out.
Yeah. Look
All
at the
right, Ben.
Phillies' last couple first round picks.
Yeah. Right.
Haven't
Yeah.
been much.
Not here, in Mexico, playing in Japan, and on the bench for some major league team that's not in a playoff spot. That's obviously not true, but that's okay. Just for the effect. All right, Ben, let's talk about the the receiving end of the trade deadline. Who are the Phillies targeting? Are these realistic? And who do you want to see get the Phillies acquire the most?
Well, it sounds like there's 3 teams that are possible. It's Cleveland, Minnesota, and Pittsburgh. David Bednar is the name out of Pittsburgh, but it feels like they're going out to the AL Central and taking a guy out of there. We'll start with the 2 from Twins. Johan Duran of the Twins. He is their closer, 43 innings. He has 15 saves. His ERA is 1.66 in his 43 innings. He has 49 strikeouts, 1.13 WHIP, and he is kind of your top guy right now. If you're the Phillies, if you can get Duran, he's 27 years old. He's got electric stuff. That is, and he's got a great entrance as well. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's a great entrance.
Yeah, I have.
He's really good. Griffin Jax as well is the guy that they could go with. 41 and a third innings, 3.92 ERA, 6 strikeouts, doesn't allow a lot of base runners, 1.21 WHIP. That ERA is kind of high, but Griffin Jax will give you good innings as well. He's 30 years old.
Yeah.
From the Twins, we'll get to the Guardians trade in a second, but from the Twins, Duran is your guy.
Absolutely.
But Jax is also, Jax would also be huge for this team.
Yeah, I would say I'm a big pitching ninja guy. We've talked about this before. So I've seen a lot of relief pitchers with nasty stuff get posted on there. I have never seen someone manipulate a baseball as well as I've seen Duran do it. I'm not kidding when I say any part of this, but he will come if he, from some grace of the Lord, ends up in Philadelphia. He will come to the city and will throw a splitter with a foot of break harder than 90% of the pitchers in an organization throw their fastball, which is just impressive in and of itself. Have you seen anything floating around with Byron Buxton?
So I've seen the rumors. Here's a Duran pitching ninja calls it a splinker. 98 miles an hour, just absolutely filthy. That's one of the filthiest pitches you're going to see if you're watching on the video. If not, this ball looks like it's a splitter and then it just sinks on you and it's 98 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
I can tell you, JT Real Muto hopes they get Griffin Jax. Let me tell you.
For sure.
That's exhausting.
The Byron Buxton stuff, obviously center fielder, all-star again, has been healthy this season. He has so much health issues that it's just hard to trust it, which is how I am with like Mike Trout and some other guys. Certainly possible. I can get his numbers up right now, but I've been on the Buxton train for a long time. He's hitting 289 this year, a 925 OPS, 31 homers, with a 351 on base percentage. He's been great for Minnesota. He's a great player when he's on the field, and it's great to see that he's been healthy this season. I don't know if they get Buxton and a pitcher in a trade. It would not be Duran. They would be giving up the farm for that trade. It would probably be Buxton and Jax. But Byron Buxton is a heck of a baseball player, plays good, very good defense, excellent hitter. He's a right-handed center fielder, which is exactly what the Phillies need. So he is like, if I had a perennial guy who I want outside of the bullpen, it's Byron Buxton. Just doesn't feel like it's going to happen.
I agree. And then we'll talk about the Guardians for a brief moment. The names out there right now, Emmanuel Clase and Stephen Kwan. I think Kwan would be, I think he'd fit in our lineup very well. He's more of a contact hitter, high average, but he also does have, he kind of reminds me of Alec Boehm a little bit, with a little bit more mature bat to ball skills. And then Class A is just a ridiculous. He is on the Johan Duran level of just absolutely devastating stuff out of the bullpen.
Yeah, Class A is only 27. I thought he was older, but everyone knows Class A. 43 and a third, 42 strikeouts, 2.91 ERA, 20 saves, 1.22 WHIP. He is just constantly disgusting, and he feels like a guy the Phillies have been involved with the last few years. Obviously, Cleveland is typically good, not that great this season, around 500, I believe. But Class A is definitely could be a guy. He had pitched 2 innings the other day, ending the game. And then Stephen Kwan, he is. I like Steve. I've always liked Stephen Kwan. 27 years old, 285 average, 345 on base, 741 OPS, 6 homers, 32 RBIs, can steal some bases too. He's got 11 stolen bases. It's just my problem is he's another lefty contact guy. You already have that in the outfield with Brandon Marsh. So it's
Yeah.
kind of he's a better hitter than Marsh, but it's another contact guy that doesn't necessarily drive the ball. I mean, he puts a nice drive into it, but it's not going out. It's not extra bases typically. So
Yeah. And then, well, before we wrap up this conversation, I have to say, I saw Luis Roberts' name floating around. I'm sick of it. I hear it every year. He doesn't
oh
complement the lineup.
oh.
Please, get him off my Twitter feed.
So I mean, what would a trade look like? We'll start with because if you get Clase or Kwan, they're going to come together. I feel like that is kind of consensus. That's going to be a package deal. What does a trade look like? Obviously, you got to deal. You might have to deal two
Of
of
them, yeah.
the four of Miller, Crawford, Abel, and Painter. I don't know if this is a Painter deal. I feel like this could be an Abel and maybe a Crawford because you're trading kind of similar players with Crawford and Kwan. But like Crawford
I
will
don't
definitely
know.
go in this deal.
Yeah, I think so too. I was going to say Painter. I mean,
Could be.
if they get these two guys for Abel and Crawford, I
Well,
would,
if there's
I'd
going to, of
host
course, be more, but I feel like
barbecue.
if it's
Yeah, no,
Painter,
sure,
it could
but
just be. This could be a
I
Painter
would,
deal.
yeah, it might be.
And then
I mean,
if you get just Duran, I don't think that's a Painter. But
no, I don't think so either.
If you get Buxton in one of these deals, either with Griffin Jacks or with Duran,
I can
that could
see,
be 3 or 4.
I'll tell you, I think a Buxton Griffin Jacks deadline would be perfect. Because I mean, you have to remember, I might bite my tongue, but we talked about the starting pitchers earlier. They're going to go deep into your games. Jose Alvarado, this is playoffs. You're not going to have Jose Alvarado, but with Strom and Kerkering in the back end of that bullpen, and then Griffin Jacks, the three of them could lock it down. It's a big could, but getting Buxton in that lineup would be huge. And they're not giving up a ton in the minor leagues if you do Jacks instead of Duran. They're not going to get Duran and Buxton. That's never going to happen.
No.
That's the Twins' entire team. At that point, they should just give him the whole roster because they wouldn't be leaving much out of note. But I'm really, I'm really curious to see what they do. I am. Because there's potential with these names. And I think that the Phillies have some actually developed prospects who they're willing to. I think I've said this a couple times, but it's all about the trajectory for these guys, and I think that's become a lot more clear in the last 12 months. Painter's healthy, Abel's gotten more innings, Miller is playing every day at a higher level. Like these guys and other teams in the organization, out of the organization, are starting to see where these players stand.
If there's any year to do it,
It's now.
it's 2025.
Well, it's actually like last year or 2 years
Yeah,
ago,
it could
but
have been like 2023, 24. But I mean, if there's any year to do it this year. Yeah, so we'll obviously have another pod before the deadline. We got a couple
right,
weeks. So we'll go more in depth, but this is where the
right.
Phillies stand right now. And when you think about it, with the Phillies' first overall pick, they may have another guy that they can use in their bullpen column.
This is true. So the Phillies went with they had the 26th overall pick in the 2025 draft. They go with Gage Wood. Uh, you've probably heard his name once or twice. He threw the no-hitter with 19 strikeouts in the College World Series when Arkansas played Murray State.
Yep.
I mean, and he's gross. His fastball is. I was watching videos of it last night.
It's
It like
deadly.
kind of got me into a trance. Like it's first of all, it like has rise to it, which I think is very impressive. He's got say his curveball, it like hit my heart a little bit. I see a little bit of Adam Wainwright in not only his arm mechanics and like his arm motion, but also in the break of the pitch, and I got kind of like warm inside. Um, because I'm such a huge Adam Wainwright. I mean, I literally have a Adam Wainwright and Yadier Molina t-shirt. Um, so that really made me feel nice. And then he has a slider and changeup that I think I described in my article as works in progress. Um, which is definitely an accurate term for those. He doesn't throw them a lot. They get hit around a little bit, but I think that having a professional level pitching coach, so I should say a pitching coach at the professional level, which I think they're two very different things, will help him in that developmental process with developing a third pitch that he can get outs with.
Yeah, I mean, 2 pitches with a kind of mediocre third definitely is not great by any means necessary right now. But I mean, for a starter at least. But if the Phillies do what it sounds like they might do, he's 21 years old. Of course, there's a crazy jump from college to major leagues, but we could see him in this bullpen in September. We saw with Orion Kirkring a few years ago.
Absolutely.
Like, had him up late September, got him to reps, had him in the bullpen for October. You could see that with Gage Wood in 2025. You could see him in this bullpen in October. And if he can do what he did in college, he is going to be deadly and lights out. And I'm hoping, I personally would think that'd be awesome. You just have to see how he fares. But I also,
Yeah.
my theme, obviously, the MLB draft has come to an end, I believe, or from when we're recording this. But the first however many rounds, they were all college level pitchers that can start and be in the bullpen. They picked a lot of that. And you see the Phillies, they have like 1 or 2 guys from their organization in their bullpen right now. Max Lazar and Orion Kirkring. Is that it?
Yeah.
Like that's not good. So the Phillies are tired. What I'm seeing is they're done trading for guys in their bullpen, and they're starting to get some homegrown older guys that they can put in there and that can do it themselves rather than going out and trading and signing these guys that don't pan out. Because, like, when was the last time the Phillies had their own guy in the bullpen that was good? It's been a long time.
I can't remember. But yeah, it definitely was a new drafting strategy for the Phillies amateur scouting team. I think I mentioned in my article as well that Brian Barber, since he joined the Phillies in 2019, never picked a college player in the first round. Now, some of this might have to do with they haven't drafted number 26 overall in at least a decade, right? Because the last time they won the NL East. Because it is based on your end of season. It has nothing to do with the playoffs. It is solely based off your end of season record and how that compares to other teams. So it's definitely something new that we've seen from the Phillies front office this year, and I like it. I agree with you. I think they need guys who can bolster that bullpen a little bit, and Gage Wood could certainly do that in the next, dare I say, 2.5 months. I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean,
Also, I want to leave before we wrap up this episode and shout out our sponsor and whatnot. I do need to leave you with something. Did you know that we are older than Eli Willits? I feel like I need to whisper that.
Yeah, that's insane. The first overall pick,
Disturbing.
17 in 3 months or 17 in 7 months.
I am proud. I am pretty proud of myself. Like, I was probably like physically capable of picking up a baseball while he was still in the womb. It's kind of cool for us, right?
Yeah, but
We
like
probably threw first.
he got drafted in the MLB. We're talking about him on a
Well, no,
computer.
that's okay. We probably picked up a baseball and threw it first. Just pointing that out.
I could beat him in baseball any day. Strike that kid out any day of the week.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I remember the first time I saw a picture of him. I was like, I swear I passed him walking to the middle school that lives just down the street from me. Like, he looks really young. It's kind of scary.
And now he's first overall pick. That was a shocker. Kind of shocking for his 2 picks.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. And then the Nationals going with what they did really blew me away. But good for the Mariners though. They got their guy, Kate Anderson. So
If it falls to you, you can't do anything. And what's falling to you is a great deal from SeatGeek. If you're still listening and
oh, that was a
watching,
good one.
thanks for sticking around. This has been a
Yeah,
long
we're
one. Had a lot to
ready to
cover
stretch.
today. SeatGeek, use code Philly Sports Report to save $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. PHILLYSPORTSREPORT. What are we doing, Colin?
Hold the S. Hit that thing out of the park like the home run derby guys did yesterday.
Thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring the show. Thank you to all of you for listening. We'll catch you on the next Bell Ringers episode. This has been the Bell Ringers podcast on Philly Sports Reports, brought to you by SeatGeek. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Philly Sports Reports wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Follow the podcast on X and PSR on all social media. Also, consider leaving a review. Catch Colin and Benjamin's writing on phillysportsreports.com, along with following both on X. Thank you to SeatGeek for sponsoring the show.